It's pretty amazing how deceptive you can be in the skincare world. It's very deceptive, and we are not about that at all. And so to get your foot in the door in a pretty unfair, in a lot of ways, market is not easy.
This is the Real Food, Real People podcast.
A Washington dairy farm is creating a revolutionary skincare product out of cow's colostrum. Don't know what colostrum is? Come along with me and you can learn all about it as we visit with Ashlee Frank at Royal Family Dairy and Nurst, the new skincare product line that they've created from the farm in Royal City, Washington. So technically, this is kind of breaking the rules because this is real food, real people. But in this one case, we aren't talking about food, but it's still something for people's bodies.
Correct.
That comes from a farm.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
From the same animal that provides food. And the ingredient is edible.
Yeah.
The ingredient.
So what are we talking about? Skincare products. It's called Nurst that you guys do here at, and it all starts here at Royal Dairy.
Yep.
Explain how this all came about.
So Nurst is a cream, a lotion, a body cream that is the main ingredient is colostrum, which is the first milk that a cow produces after a baby's born. And it's just a super, really good ingredient. The baby calves need it to line their gut within the first hour of birth. It's super important for their immune system. The Nurst came about because we knew of that miracle ingredient. We knew how good colostrum is for babies in general, but here at the dairy, specifically baby calves. And so my brother Austin, who is the owner of this dairy, and he's been in dairy farming for several years, he is he was kind of the mastermind behind it all, and milk is a cure-all to him. Milk and cows are the savior of the world. They can cure anything. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about. My daughter was born with even just straight out of the womb, had some eczema patches, some dry patches, and the doctors were like, wow, that's already dry and red, and looks like you'll probably have some eczema problems in the future. Yeah. And she did. And so my brother Austin would always say to me and to her as she was growing up, like, you just need to take milk baths all the time. You just come to the dairy. We'll just come to the dairy. We'll soak you in milk. That'll cure it. And we never really took him up on it. Just logistically, I didn't think it was really possible. I'm sure it is. Austin would find a way. Yeah. But that's kind of where the thought came from. The idea was his little niece that he adores was suffering and struggling and itching, and because milk is the cure-all to him, he was like, surely that would cure it, because it's such a good miracle ingredient, liquid gold he calls it. So that's kind of where the idea came from, the thought, and so it developed from there.
Well, and that's with humans too. Colostrum is so important in those first hours and days of life, because it has a lot of different stuff, extra stuff in it beyond milk.
Yeah, right? The antibodies, the immune boosters are incredible. They really are a miracle.
And it's the opposite of synthetic anything. It's as natural as
100% natural.
Crazy.
God created, then that you can't get better than that.
Yeah.
Can't. It's impossible.
So taking this to the idea of actually producing a skincare product based on all of those benefits, how do you even start something like that?
So I wasn't super involved at the very, very beginning. Like at the very, very beginning, I was with the idea, the thought, and we kind of laughed at Austin because he has lots of ideas, but I mean, I honestly thought, yeah, that's awesome, but good luck. Like, you know.
Which, by the way, if people want to hear Austin's story, we talked with him in the last season of the podcast where he shared his vision for this dairy and what he's trying to do with environmental sustainability, sequestering carbon, all that stuff. It's a fascinating conversation.
fascinating,
So just a little
and
plug to last season for that.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
He's obviously a big idea guy.
Yeah, and he's a doer too. He's idea and doer, and he obviously has to have help to follow through, but he's amazing, and he's been doing amazing things on this dairy. So this was one of the ideas that, we kind of were like, okay, great idea, but bringing it to fruition, we'll see.
But again, he's a doer, so he's probably like, I am going to find a way.
Absolutely, there's a way. So I just remember we were sitting around our dinner table one night, and he was over, him and his wife Camille and my family, and he was like, okay, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I have a name for the colostrum lotion. And I was like, oh, you're still on that, huh? And he said, yeah.
You're thinking that it's
like
going to die a natural death.
Yeah. And then he said, Nurst. And I was like, Nurst. And at first I was kind of like, okay, I don't know. And then it kind of started growing on me, but I didn't give it a ton of thought because, again, I wasn't really involved. And I was like, if it comes to pass, then great. I will be a user.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, so him and Camille, and I think it was a sister-in-law who is really, really good at a lot of things, but she was involved, and I honestly don't know everything and who was involved at that point, but they created, with some help, obviously, a cream that was amazing. Like, they had a lab helping them, a lab in Idaho, and with their expertise and knowledge and experience, they helped Austin and Camille, and like I said, I can't remember exactly who else, but they helped come up with a colostrum cream that you could use on your skin. And I remember he had some samples and stuff, and he gave some to my daughter, and it was good. It was really good, and we were impressed. It was like, I was like, oh, he's actually doing this. Still kind of thinking like, here's a cream, but we'll see how far it goes.
Did it help with her
eczema? It did. It absolutely helped.
I noticed you said that two ways, and I do too.
Eczema
like, what is
eczema,
the right way to say that
idea.
word?
I've always said eczema.
But
most people say eczema, and so whenever I say it, I feel a little insecure because of what most other people say.
We gotta find an expert
eczema.
somewhere who can settle this debate.
Yes, we do. But I've always said eczema, so I guess I will continue to say eczema because that's how I've always said it. But it absolutely helped. She actually to this day won't go anywhere without it. Like, she's in college now, and she travels, and she always it's in a size that can be on a plane, can travel in a carry-on. So she takes it everywhere. She's like, where's my nurse? So and we've had other people, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead now, but we've had other people with some eczema problems that, I mean, one person specifically swears that they have been on so many things from doctors, and this clears it up, leaves it clear for quite a while, and like they love it. So we've had lots of really good reviews. But so going back to the lab that helped them create this cream or lotion, and did a really good job. Like, this lab is smaller. It's growing now, and I don't know tons about the lab, but I will say they knew what they were doing. They did a really good job creating this initial cream. So then after that, Austin and Camille, they just needed help kind of making it bigger, getting the word out from this miracle ingredient made into a cream. It's really good. They did a bunch of samples and got it out to several people, and people were really liking it. And so Austin's like, okay, we gotta help people know that cows can cure all, right? And so at that point, he asked me if I would help, and I will tell you, I'm not a skincare expert. I'm a farm girl that worked in the sun every day of my life and never wore sunscreen because we didn't back then. We worked without. I've never given a ton of thought to my skin, but I do believe in natural ingredients and in the farm, and I've had my daughter with eczema, and so it was I loved the idea, I loved the thought, and I told Austin that I would help, but I really needed to know if this was a good product. I didn't want to get involved if it was just kind of Harry
Go out there and help market something that
I don't know much
really
about.
believe in.
And so that's at that point I started reaching out to friends and people that might have connections to skincare, to experts. And I found, so I have a really good friend who I know is way into skincare. Like, I can't even describe how into it, like knows her stuff really, really good. And she is not worked in the field, but she has connections in the field because of how much she has studied it, learned about it, used it. And so she connected me with her friend who has worked in the skincare field, is amazing. And she's an esthetician. She has worked in the skincare field for, I can't remember how many years, but years and years. So she connected me with her, and I just started talking with her, and I said, okay, help me to know if this is a really good product. Like, I want to know if this is genuinely good. Like, I know colostrum's good. I have no doubt that is a miracle ingredient, but what about this lotion? Like, is it really? So she got her connections, and she has many, and she has been a huge help. And that's really where we've been starting to take off, is with her expertise and her help. And I mean, it had a strong foundation. Obviously, you can't go wrong with colostrum, but she's been really taking it to the next level and helping us to get it marketed, and even starting to make some new products out of colostrum and other farm products that we'll be able to market. And she knows about her ingredients. She knows a lot.
Now, what are the, for lack of a better term, what are the sciencey people saying it is about colostrum that makes it so great?
Yeah.
Like, are there key things in it?
Yeah, there's lots of
I mean,
key
I know
things.
there's lots of things in it, but like, what is it that makes it such a great skincare product?
Yeah, I think so. I have studied, when I first got into this, I was studying so much about it, and it has been a long time since I've read it. And because I'm not scientist and not familiar with all that, like, I can't re-say everything that I had been reading about. But there is so many vitamins and minerals and antibodies, so many, like, within colostrum, the natural makeup of colostrum. It really is a miracle. Colostrum itself, like, it's not a new idea. It's not very common, but there has been a few people who have realized and recognized the benefits of colostrum, even on the skin, and what it does to the cells and the damage, like how it repairs damaged cells. But it's amazing.
Well, I'm no scientist either,
yeah,
so
no,
I can't.
It's really amazing.
I can't understand in more detail, but that makes sense. Vitamins, minerals, antibodies, things like that.
And it like, even like aging, when I was reading about it in aging and what they've been discovering with colostrum, with like wrinkles, and how it, like I said, like the cell, what it does to the cells. Like, there's science behind it that is really awesome.
Doesn't just patch over a dry spot. It's actually helping the cells heal.
Right. And regenerate, and the elasticity. There's all kinds of stuff that I was like, just so fascinating. So fascinating.
It's crazy, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Let's stop briefly to thank our sponsors. First, Mana Insurance Group, helping you plan to protect your financial future rather than just picking up the pieces if and when things go wrong. Mana Insurance Group was founded by Dan Vanderkoy, a high school classmate of mine, and now a faithful supporter of what we're doing here on the Real Food, Real People podcast. Know several people on his team as well. They're all great folks, and that's where I do my insurance stuff. As you can tell the way I talk about it, it's not really my world, and that's great because they take care of it for me, and I have a lot of trust in them to make sure that I'm getting the best products, things that I need to protect my family's financial future. Also, the Dairy Farmers of Washington, supporting the Real Food, Real People podcast. wadairy.org is their website. And coming up soon in the month of June here in Washington, actually here in Whatcom County, they're doing a pretty cool self-guided farm tour of real dairy farms where you can go up and see the farms up close and personal, dairy farms, creameries, cheesemakers, etc. Pretty awesome event, and you just need to go to wadairy.org to get all the details. I don't have time to share all the specifics with you here, but they'll have a map and all kinds of information about how you can take part in that during June. So check it out. Again, wadairy.org and the Dairy Farmers of Washington. Now back to our conversation on a dairy farm of Washington, Royal Family Dairy in Royal City, Washington, talking with Ashlee Frank here on the Real Food, Real People podcast. So this colostrum comes from cows that have just had calves. So
Correct.
It comes from these cows right here.
Correct.
Because this is the maternity pen, right?
This is the maternity barn. These
the
cows
cows
will
go-
all, these ones here will have a baby today. These ones over here have already given birth today, but they will all give birth today.
And so they have colostrum, and I know that can be a big thing with some people. Oh, you're taking milk away that belongs to calves, for human consumption, or in this case, for a skincare product.
Yep.
What is the truth about that?
Yeah, absolutely not true. We would never take it away from the baby calves. That would make no sense to our business, to our love of the animals. Absolutely not. We would never take it away from the calves. The mamas produce way more colostrum than one or two, or even if they happen to have three, which is rare, but calves could use. And so they actually pump excess colostrum just to keep infection from happening to the moms. As in humans, we do the same thing sometimes when we I've nursed 5 babies, so I know exactly why we do that. And so they pump a little bit of excess colostrum just to keep mastitis and other infection from forming within the mamas. And so it's that excess colostrum after giving everything that the baby cow can and wants to consume. We take that excess colostrum and we turn it into powder form. We have another place who helps us turn it into this colostrum into powder form, brings it back to us in powder form, and we send it to the lab in Idaho.
Because cows that have just given birth don't go right into the, group of other cows that are producing milk for us to drink.
No, they go to a special milking parlor to get the colostrum before they go to the regular parlor to get milked.
And I can imagine if they produce a significant percentage more, you think about that in terms of human production, that volume isn't that great, but cows are big animals.
Yeah.
Calves, even a brand new baby calf, consumes a lot of food. So if there's that much more extra, that is actually a significant.
Correct. It is a significant amount. And I mean, it is, we try to use as much of it as we can in the colostrum, or in the cream, in the Nurst cream.
Yeah.
We try to use as much colostrum as we can just to make that the main ingredient, because that's the most beneficial ingredient. That's the whole purpose, the whole reason.
Yeah.
But even using as much as we can doesn't do a dent to all the excess that we have access to.
So, I was going to ask, how much does it actually take to make the cream? Like, what percentage of colostrum is in? Oh,
that's a good question. That's another Jen question.
Yeah.
I actually asked her that recently, and we were trying to do the math and figure out exactly per bottle of Nurst how much colostrum, and I haven't followed up.
Yeah, and you probably have to have other stuff in there,
there
too.
is other
to
stuff in there. Yeah,
make it the right thickness and
correct. But all the other ingredients, Jen is very particular about making sure there's no animal cruelty involved in any of the ingredients used, making sure that they are as natural as possible, which they are very close to natural, if not completely natural. As well as really beneficial. She knows exactly what ingredients she wants, what she doesn't. She wants clean ingredients. And so she's really particular about what ingredients the lab uses to add to the colostrum to make it into that miracle cream.
So how do you get the word out then on something like that? Because the skincare business, the cosmetics business, whatever, is huge.
Yeah.
And there are...
And competitive.
Yeah. And there are long-time brands that have millions, if not billions of dollars invested.
And when you ask Jen, it's pretty amazing how deceptive you can be in the skincare world. It's very deceptive. And we are not about that at all. And so to get your foot in the door in a pretty unfair in a lot of ways market is not easy. And so we're still learning. Jen is, like I said, she's amazing and working on that too. We've been working on our social media and we haven't been doing a ton with social media yet because we're still developing some more products to go with this original cream. And so
you wouldn't want to be in a position where all of a sudden, for whatever reason, somebody on the Today Show or something picks it up and then it goes viral, and then you
hoping.
I mean, that would be cool, but if you aren't prepared to supply that, then
and we want there's like a milk bath, like a bath bomb type thing to make it, or whatever, however we end up doing it, but some to do an actual milk bath. There's just some really cool ideas that we would like to have teamed up with this original cream, a toner, a spray toner. And so we're working on those. So we are working on getting the word out and marketing it, because it is awesome. And we have had a lot of people who love it. But we haven't gone super hardcore yet, because we're not, it's such a process developing these products, especially right now with the supply chain.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because you
getting
may
the packaging.
Yeah,
and
you may have the colostrum here and the other ingredients, who knows, but then you got to get bottles to put it in.
And you're working with the lab, and it's like, okay, what about this? And they'll send you a sample. Well, we want this change and this change. And then it's like 6 weeks later, it's like, wow. And then it's like, okay, well, now we finalized it after forever, and now we have this process to get all the bottles, and it's such a process. I had no idea the process that is involved in creating and marketing a large scale.
Because you're doing it from scratch.
Yeah, totally.
Versus, these other established companies probably already have, different part. Even if they come up with something new, probably they have a bunch of the elements of it already in place and a system to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it is completely from scratch. So it's been a neat and fun and learning process, but it's time consuming.
So are you selling it online then?
Yeah, at this point, just online. We are working on getting barcodes established on the new packaging so that we can do in-store as well.
There's another thing that most people never think about, and that's with food too, is barcodes.
I know, and like the process
labeling
of getting a barcode.
Making sure your label's approved and it's legal and all that stuff to make sure you cross all the T's, dot all the I's.
Yep.
So is it available in stores anywhere, or is it just available online?
Right now, just online at nurst.com. And then,
which we should mention is Nurst.
Correct.
Nurst.
Nurst.com.
So people can go there and buy it and get it shipped to them to try.
And we're working on the website, getting it more informative. It's pretty good now. You can learn a lot, but we're getting more information loaded and more blog posts and stuff so that it can be all in one. But the social media has quite a bit of information as well, and that is Nurst. Oh my gosh, Nurst Your Skin. At Nurst Your Skin, I think. I'm on it like every day, so I'll have to look again.
That's
to make
the
sure
blog?
No, that's the like Instagram.
Oh, the Instagram. Yeah. The Instagram handle. Sorry.
Yeah, the Instagram handle. So like the website's just nurst.com.
Yeah, I think it's at
and that will help
Nurst Your Skin.
Yeah,
I think I've seen
Nurst Your Skin
because I follow it.
I know,
and that's how I found.
Like I said, I'm on it every day.
I didn't know anything about. I knew Austin already. I had interviewed Austin, and then I see the posts from him and Camille, his wife, and their kids and everything.
Yeah,
all the Royal Dairy stuff, and then I saw a few things that Camille was posting about Nurst. I'm like, what's that about? And like, is that just a product that she found that she's now sharing with other people?
Nope.
And then I found out, like, no. These people are actually making it themselves. This is crazy, and that's why I had to come back here and find out what is this story.
Yeah, it is awesome. Big ideas and then doers too. So
you said you're not a skincare aficionado. You're not a scientist. You're a farm kid at heart, like I am.
Yep. Grew up on the farm.
So what's your story? Right?
Yeah, I was born here in Royal City, Washington. My family, I have 7 siblings and my mom and dad, and my dad was, my parents are amazing, absolutely love them. They were determined to make us, or not really make us, kind of, but teach us to work. Yep. And I complained a lot, I remember, but it's helped me because now when my kids complain, I'm like, haha, doesn't help. That makes you work more. You need more work. The more you complain, the more work you need.
Yep.
So just really wanted to teach us how to work and be disciplined and follow our dreams. Like just think big. And my dad is also a big thinker, and my mom is a great support and a big thinker as well, big ideas. And So I grew up, and then I left for college. I studied abroad. I studied in Utah, in Hawaii, in Jerusalem, and during the summers would travel doing different humanitarian missions to Romania, Peru, different places. And so, got out a lot. And then I met my husband like my 4th year in university. And then after we got married, we lived a few different places and then ended up here in Royal. And my husband he's an Army brat. He grew up was born in Germany. His dad is German. And then all over the United States.
Yeah.
Following his dad.
Yeah. People
in
who
the
grow
Army.
up in that way, I mean, they're used to moving.
Yeah. And so then we moved out here where he graduated in construction management, and then he started a remodel and roofing business. And then that went really well. And then he started buying properties. And so now he manages and owns properties in Moses Lake mostly. And so we get to, and then I help on the farm whenever I can, especially here at the dairy with Austin.
So he comes from outside the farm world. What did he think about coming to Royal City and the farm life and all of that?
When we visited, we'd visit, and he was like, "This is awesome." Like he had never. Austin was little when I met. Austin's the youngest in the family, and Tyler, my husband, still remembers the first time he ever visited. Like Austin said, "Hey, jump on the back of the 4-wheeler," and he jumped on, and he went and from the 4-wheeler grabbed an apple off the tree and was like, "Here, try this." And he was like, "I had never had anything so good in my life. Like it was so good." And just little Austin driving the 4-wheeler around, just throwing apples back at him from the tree. Like he was like, "What is this? This is awesome." So he really liked it visiting, but living here is a different story, right? Like it's a different world out here.
Yeah.
And he adjusted great. We love it. We get
even just farm life too, when it's we
and
have plans, but now we don't have plans because something changed.
Well, and that's, we are pretty fortunate that way. We get all the benefits of the farm life, but we don't have to stress about like the farmers do, which I still do because it's my dad and brothers and
it's in your blood.
Involved. Yeah. And so when it's bad weather, I still stress a little because I know they're stressing, but we don't, that's not our livelihood. And so that is a blessing in a way. Yeah. We get to still enjoy all the fresh produce and living in the middle of nowhere and the beautiful sounds and sights every day that brings, but we don't have to stress about bringing in the harvest.
So when you were a kid growing up, what did your parents grow at that time? They weren't in dairy farming at that point, were they?
They weren't. I don't remember when this dairy was put in, but it was a long time ago, but I remember. And then a friend of ours bought it, which we didn't know him at the time, but they got involved with the original owners sold it to this guy who Austin became really close with as a little boy. This guy was in Austin, became really close. And so then he would just help a lot. My dad and this guy became partners in different ways and became really good friends and business partners. And then my dad bought into it when I was in college, maybe, I think. I can't remember. He was very good.
But he had been growing what? Tree fruit,
So before
right?
that, he had been doing mostly potatoes. And then as I grew, when I was like in middle school he started some tree fruit.
So apples
and cherries. Mostly apples at that time. Cherries came a little bit later. And then, corn, potatoes, wheat, peas. That was the mostly different kinds of alfalfa a little bit, different kinds of hay, but mostly at that time it was potatoes, corn, peas, wheat.
And your family still grows kind of all of that stuff, right?
Some
of it for the dairy.
A lot of it for the dairy.
The corn and the grass to feed the cows.
Now they're trying to do like more full, like closed loop, and they feed a lot of it. What they grow is feed for the cows. Yeah. They still do potatoes, and then the byproducts will come back to the cows eventually sometimes, but a lot of it goes to French fries.
Yeah.
And then, apples and cherries they do, and they have a packing plant in Quincy that they pack it and sell it from there to Costco and Walmart, all over.
Your family produces a lot of food.
They do.
And skincare products.
And skincare products. And my dad's brothers also farm around here and are awesome as well. And so there's, a lot comes out of here.
Skincare products from a farm. Do people have a weird reaction to that? They're like, I think people are. I just think they've already assumed that skincare products come from a lab and a factory now, which Wouldn't necessarily be my preference, but
Yeah, I think that the reaction most of the time is natural ingredients. I think get a pretty positive reaction, honestly, and so a lot of people just don't know what colostrum is. That's the well, what's colostrum, and so just explaining that, and it is. I don't know. I love explaining it because I'm like, it makes sense. It makes so much sense.
Thank you for having me out here to the maternity pen and seeing these ladies who are about to give birth or who just have.
If you wait long enough, you'll see one for sure.
Yeah,
There's like 25 calves a day born here.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm going to be following this. I'm fascinated by it.
Awesome.
And I think more people need to find out what's going on and maybe give it a try.
I think so too. It is genuinely a good cream, and we're just working on developing more things. Like right now, people have really wanted like a specific face cream, and so this original cream we call the OG will be more for hands and body, and for really sensitive skin types because it has no scent. Which this original one, that's the one thing people have been like, it just doesn't smell great. Most people don't care, but some people struggle with the smell.
Well, because it's natural.
So natural.
It doesn't have.
Natural. So we're developing one that's going to be almost identical to the OG, but just with a little bit of scent and as natural scent as we can possibly use.
Yep.
And so then that will be very similar hand and body cream, but with a little bit of scent. And then a face cream that is of different ingredients with, like I said, Jen has added peptides and different things to a face cream that will be a specific for the face. And a little bit of scent as well, but not quite as, a little bit of, I can't remember, citrus scent. I can't remember which one that was going to be, but, and then the toner, a spray toner. Those are the first ones coming out. And after that, we're going to just keep thinking big, keep going.
So awesome.
Stay tuned for the next ideas, because there's some in the works. I just won't say them yet.
So at Nurst Your Skin on Instagram, follow it there, and then nurst.com, and that's Nurst again.
Correct.
So people should check it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Ashlee, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Dylan, very much. This was fun.
This is the Real Food, Real People podcast. These are the stories of the people who grow your food.